Hello, everybody. Come in. There's Chris right there. Hi. Oh, it's very familiar. So how are you enjoying the con so far? It's been about an hour and a half, and it's been great. Awesome. Yeah. So, you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started with acting? Oh, wow. Let's see. When I was 7, I knew that I wanted to be an actress, but then I didn't really quite try to pursue it until I was about 19 years old. That's not true. I did do a couple school plays and community plays, but as soon as I was 19, I was actually going to look at colleges, and I remember I was in Vermont at Johnson State College, and with my mom going to like visit the college, and on the board there was like a flyer for the AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Academy in New York City, and I was like, oh, I want to audition for this. So me and my mom went to New York, and I auditioned, and I thought, wow, yeah. And how did you eventually get involved with Power Rangers? Okay, so then I was in New York doing that, and I actually didn't get asked back the second year of AMDA because I had stage fright, like really bad stage fright. But in that school, I did meet a boy who the following year said he was going to drive out to Los Angeles, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go. So I followed a boy out to Los Angeles, and then I had told somebody this like a week ago during a podcast that I think is located here, that I didn't realize that Hollywood was in Los Angeles. I actually thought Hollywood was a concept. I didn't realize it was actually like a town. So that was really convenient when I showed up to Los Angeles. And so, yeah, I was there from January to, I would say about that August. So not very long. I auditioned for Power Rangers and I got the job. Nice. Yeah. And so you've got a background in gymnastics, is that right? Yeah, I grew up as a gymnast. I started when I was 7. I started gymnastics when I was 7, and then around 15, I sort of stopped doing gymnastics, and then it came in very handy when I was auditioning for Power Rangers, and I think really that's how I got the part, because at that point I don't think it was really my acting skills. I didn't really have any at that point, but and so hopefully they came later. Okay. And so did you at all over the years start to feel connected with that character and kind of infuse some of your own personality into her? Well, I think with any role that you get, you sort of just, all you can do is bring yourself. And I actually, when I auditioned, I was like, I don't think I'm going to get the part, because in my head, Kimberly was this other person. Actually, her name is Sunny, and she went to the same acting class that I went. I was like, she'd be a great Kimberly. I was like casting her as it, and she was blonde with a completely different personality. But she didn't get the part. She didn't audition. Anyway, I got the part. And so Kimberly, it was me. So there you go. Did you know at the time that you were part of a worldwide popular children's series that would have a long-lasting popularity? No, not at all. None of us knew that. Like when we were doing the pilot, when it finally went on TV and it was suddenly super popular, it was very overwhelming. I'm like, wow, what is happening? We're wearing spandex on national television. Like, what are we doing? And didn't really understand the impact that it was having on all these little kids, probably for me fully until years later. Although there were a few times that we did some stuff with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and went and visited hospitals and stuff, and that was really, really incredible and cool and profound and exciting to sort of kind of be a part of that and start to figure out that this character that we're playing on this kids TV show is affecting people, you know, in so many ways. And now all those kids are adults, and here you guys are. And so I heard
earlier we've got some Susie Q fans in the audience. So what was that experience like? How'd you get involved with that?
Well, that was actually Saban as well. So I went to Saban to actually shoot Levy, which was the other main producer on the show, and asked him if I could leave Power Rangers after 2 years and 152 episodes. I was like, I think I'm ready to move on. So like, and he said, okay, here's a guitar. It's my favorite guitar I still have. And will you do like 7 more episodes? And will you do this movie that his ex-wife had written, and he had written with him? And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I went up to Vancouver and shot Susie Q, and that was a really incredible experience and a great way to sort of exit Power Rangers with having that under my belt.
And so you eventually became a Canadian citizen, is that right?
I did. So after that, I did a few movies of the week, and then I got Felicity, so I did Felicity for a few years. Simultaneously, my mom had passed away, and in the middle of that, it was sort of like, it really rocked my world when my mom died, and I wasn't quite happy in Los Angeles, so I sort of extricated myself from LA after doing a couple other series, and like some small movies. And I drove cross country with my sister, my dog, and her 2 kids, like left Los Angeles, and ended up getting a movie of the week in Montreal. So I went up to Montreal, and I was like, what is this magical city that speaks French? It was totally not on my radar. So I moved my entire life to Montreal. And then about a year later, I got the call for Flashpoint. And I was like, I'm not acting anymore. But they kept asking, and they kept calling me. So finally I was like, okay, tell them I'm pregnant. I don't think they're gonna want me, but I'll come and audition. And I got the part, pregnant at all.
Oh, that's awesome. So what was that like, doing that while pregnant?
Oh, it was a thing, let me tell you. It was really intense. Yeah. Well, first of all, there was something that happened for me, like emotionally and my confidence and everything when I got that part within that first year of playing Jules and playing this character who is this like badass, sniper, with all my hormones raging, being pregnant, trying to make a human. And I remember like the first day on set and just being like, I don't know how to embody this character. Like I didn't feel Jules yet. I didn't feel like super confident. I left Los Angeles because I was sort of like falling apart, like from insecurities in a lot of ways. So it was really great because through that first season of really having to dig deep and find like some strength and some confidence, I figured out how to sort of embody this character of Jules that literally has never left me. Like I feel like a completely different person since playing that role.
That's cool. So what other roles have you played that you feel have left a lasting impression on you as a person?
I think that would be the only one that truly did. I think that Jules was Flashpoint. Julie from Felicity. She was such a fragile person and went through so many emotional things that I was simultaneously going through all those emotional things. My mom had died during the show. Like I was, felt like not loving my experience in Los Angeles, and so anything that was Julie, hopefully I've like let go of through the years with age and just, having a child and, growing up and just finding my confidence. Yeah.
Does your child watch any of your shows?
No. No, we did watch one episode of Felicity and she made fun of my voice after. She's like, and I used to do this thing. I was 28 when we did Felicity and I was playing a 19-year-old and I used to let me see if I can do it. I used to kind of talk like this and that for some reason just made me feel younger. And it's ridiculous. And I actually remember J.J. Abrams saying to me, you know, if you can ever just sort of like drop in to your real voice, like you would really kill it as an actress. And I was like, oh, I don't really know what that means yet. And then as I've dropped into my voice, I don't want to act anymore.
What did it take for you to find that voice to drop into your
I think being pregnant on Flashpoint and having to play this sniper and having to like walk into a room and clear it with my gun and like, you know, just like embody like this really confident, strong woman. I like really had to find myself there. Yeah.
So you've done quite a bit of TV and film. What are some of the differences that you've experienced working in television versus film?
You know, I mean, my experience as an actress truly is it's through the TV work that I've done. I think is probably the strongest work I've done, and where I've grown the most and learned the most. A lot of the projects I would choose to go do as an actress in film were more based off of location, and like Infested probably didn't help me grow as an actor. Or Cold Hearts. These are super fun movies to go shoot, and it was like summer camp while you're shooting them. But what was the question that you asked?
Just some of the differences you've noticed between working as a TV actor versus a film actor.
It's just like a smaller space. It happens quicker. I mean, now shooting as a director, you could ask me that question, and I'm just discovering the difference between shooting my indie films that I like are my babies that I put everything I have into, and it like takes my entire life for, you know, as long as it takes to raise the money and put the crew together and shoot it and then edit it, to now diving into TV directing for the first time with Superman and Lois. That was a whole other experience. Way more intense, not way more intense, just as intense, but like a very different beast because it isn't my baby. I have to try and figure out how to execute the vision of the showrunner and the show itself, so it's like a whole different thing. Yeah.
Do you prefer directing over acting?
100%. No, I literally stopped acting. I really have no urge to get in front of the camera again. I think for a lot of reasons. One is because writing and directing, I love so much. I find myself so passionate about it. And I feel like in the last few years of my acting, I was getting a bit lazy and complacent, and I didn't feel as passionate. So my work was sort of not as great as it could have been. And I don't feel that with writing and directing. I don't feel like a lazy filmmaker at all.
Do you hope that your daughter follows in any of your footsteps and writes or directs or acts?
No, I don't hope that. If she ever wanted to, I think that would be really cool. She's really into math and robotics. Yeah, she's really into science and math, and yeah, she has no interest in acting or. And so it's kind of refreshing in a way too. We also don't live in Hollywood. We live in Toronto, so she's not surrounded by that. It might have been a different story if I ended up staying in LA, but no interest. Yeah, I think it intrigues her. But like literally, she thought my last name was Flashpoint until she was 5 years old. She's like, it's Amy Jo Flashpoint.
No, before I ask you more questions, I just want to check in with our audience and see if we've got any questions so far. All right, so, yes, we've got a question over here.
Do you still have the watch and the power morpher from the Power Rangers?
I have a watch, but it's not from the original. Like somebody, did they make really good ones in the last couple of years that kind of have the same weight as the originals and everything? I have that. And then the only thing original that I do have is from the movie. I have this wooden pterodactyl that was from the film when we were in Australia. Yeah, got some questions.
Other than Ashley and Nakia, you're actually one of the ones I want to meet the most.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I can give this to her or not. This is something I made.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh, I love it.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask is,
You didn't sign it.
I didn't have a Sharpie with me, so
Oh, well, if you come to my table, will you sign
I'm
it?
going to. I noticed on some of your pages on Instagram about you mentioned about playing your music for the Make-A-Wish programs. Is there one of your songs that you enjoy the most that you've written?
Wait, I have to go back to the beginning though. So,
Your very first song that you wrote for Make-A-Wish,
Make a Wish. I
you
didn't know.
had on the reel that you was in your Kimberly outfit playing your guitar for Make-A-Wish program.
What Instagram are you on?
It says Amy J the double.
A to the double J?
Yeah.
Oh. You have to show me that when you come to the table. I don't remember that. But I do. So what was the question
What
about?
is your favorite song that you've written?
Oh, I just wrote one recently that I quite love. That's on my Instagram that I just finished. I think I like it so much right now because it's been a few years since I've actually written a song. I wrote one for my daughter recently, my dad, and then I just wrote this one on the piano. On Instagram, it's me playing it on the guitar. I prefer it on piano, but it wasn't recording properly on my phone. But I like that one. It's called The Light Still Remains. Chris, do you remember? No, nobody remembers the name. Yeah.
I do have one last one. I do gymnastics as well because I'm an acrobatic performer.
Oh, nice.
So I'm wondering what would be your tips as far as like doing the cartwheels or the flips, like backflips?
Well, it sounds like you're probably better than I am. Is this a tip for you
Yeah.
or for other
Tip for
people?
myself.
You don't know how to do a cartwheel, but you're a
I can do a cartwheel, but as far as going like backflips wise, I've burned and crashed. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. The only place I can do a backflip now is on a trampoline,
Okay.
which is a good place to practice, I suppose. You can do that. And I think the key is to like really get your arms up before you tuck.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, don't just do it back. I think it's been a while, guys. Got another question.
I say it's wonderful to meet you and finally see you. I've never seen you in every single decade, but I just had a different kind of question. You've had a lot of experience in film and television, but have you had any kind of recent interest in doing stage work, and what stage plays might have been your favorite or inspiring?
Huh, interesting. I once did something called Love Janice, which was off Broadway, and that's as far as I got on like doing New York theater. I did plays when I was younger. I did a few plays in Los Angeles when I was there too. Actually, the songs that I've written recently, I've called my friend Joanne, who wrote Tammy's Always Dying, and I was like, dude, I feel like these songs should be a musical. I feel like we should write a musical together. Because she's a theater director and has written plays before. So she came over and I played her all the songs. And she's like, yeah. And then she didn't really come up with any, like, it didn't take off as I thought it was going to do with her. But so then I was like, what if we make Tammy's Always Dying into a musical? Because my songs are really sad. Anyway, that's a ridiculous idea. That's not going to happen. But, well, because you know why that came up? Because she's like, oh, have you seen The Waitress on Broadway, which I love. It's fantastic. And that was a fantastic little movie, right? So I'm like, what if we make Tammy's Always Dying into a musical? Did you ever see Tammy's Always Dying?
I can't say I have yet, but I need to.
Yeah, it would not be the most fun musical in the world. Anyway. Tammy's Always Dying musical. Has anybody here seen Tammy's Always Dying? Chris has. You guys have to watch it. So it's my second feature, really, that I wrote and directed, and it stars Felicity Huffman and and you can watch it on Showtime, on HBO, yeah, I think on Crave, and it's about a woman who threatens to jump off a bridge once a month to keep her daughter tethered to the town that they live in. But it's a dark comedy, guys. There's some humor in it, and it's and Felicity actually is fantastic in it. I like your shirt.
How's it going, old friend?
Oh yeah! Hi! Richard.
Will.
It's
It's all good.
It's been a few years.
Indeed.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Oh, yes,
He was
ma'am.
wearing the Space Between t-shirt, which was my first feature I wrote and directed. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Since we're talking about music right now, I was just wondering, did you know almost 2 months ago your first album turned 20 years old, the Trans-American Treatment?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, on Instagram, I commented about it for the 20th anniversary on your guitar picture, and I mentioned that I'm always going to love that album.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow, that was 20 years ago. I recorded that in Chicago. Yeah, it was such a blast. It was when I was just leaving Felicity, and I met this guy in Chicago who was this rocker, and he was so cool. And then I left Felicity and went to Chicago to record an album with him, so I have this rock album called The Trans-American Treatment that he produced. Yeah.
That's marvelous. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to ask you. And,
Aw, thank you.
Yep.
Nice to see you.
Well, it's always good to see you too, man. And you'll always be one of the greatest musicians ever.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
So how does it feel knowing that 25 years later you were inspiring little girls like me to really be everything that they could be and go for their dreams?
It's really kind of a cool little gift to be given, like a little karma gift. Because when I was 19 or 20, driving out to Hollywood, I didn't know it was Hollywood, remember? Anyway, I had no idea that would be my first gig and have it impact so many little girls. So I feel really blessed and lucky to have be part of that. Thank you. Thanks.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So you said you directed Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Superman and Lois, and I feel like it feels different from the other DC superhero shows on the CW.
So my episode comes out March 1st.
Oh.
It's called Tried and True. So next week is, I forget the name of it, but then mine's the week after on Tuesday. And I think that Todd, who's the showrunner who created the show, really wanted it to be different from the Arrowverse and have its own sort of feel and be very cinematic and also deal with a lot of the drama within the family, but then have the superhero element as well. And that, so I think, it's a show for certain people that like that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, what's it feel like having both been on camera in a superhero show and then directing a superhero show?
Oh, I much prefer directing. It was so fun. It was, I cried when I teared up. I didn't sob or anything. But when I had been watching the show religiously because I really wanted the job, so I was really prepping. And when we went driving up to the farmhouse for the first time, I got a big lump in my throat because I was like, holy crap, this is so cool. And then the first time I ever met Tyler, he was in his Superman outfit, and I was like, oh my god, Superman! So it was such a cool show to work on and be a part of, yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Discovered last month by Adrian Armante from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I'm going to be going to Miami to audition in December for a commercial TV show or movie. So I was just wondering, what is one good tip you could give to people that's auditioning so they can have that edge?
Oh, okay. What was the first part of what you said? You were discovered?
Yeah. For acting, Adrian Armante, he was Esteban in The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh, cool. And so you've been studying with him?
Just a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I just went
be yourself and don't try to put on any airs. Doesn't seem like you would. You seem pretty grounded just from like standing here talking. Yeah, just be you. And oh God, it's been a while since I auditioned. It's a whole process, huh? It's a whole thing. You know what? It actually used to really help me. When I would sit in the audition room and all these other people would be there, I would wish them all luck mentally in my head. And for some reason that would ground me. I think it's a good way to like walk in.
Gives back good karma to you.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like hope that everybody does a good job, and then somehow I find that grounding.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, right?
So I've kind of come to a different one. I've kind of gone Pensacon a couple times, and Polly was saying that he used to pull pranks with you.
Yeah.
You got like on and off set.
Okay.
What was your favorite one that you were a part of?
Oh, I don't remember specifically what he would do, but they were always up to no good. JDF was raw. He was always pulling pranks. I can't honestly remember like anything specific besides JDF pretending to sneeze on everybody when we were in Australia. They were probably a part of that too. Like, you know, when you take the water and you put it in your mouth and someone walks in. Imagine doing that now. Oh my God, you get punched in the head.
Also, I heard that there was a rumor that you two got kicked out of a movie theater for having your phones out during the premiere.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was Jason at the Power Ranger movie premiere. He was so cute. He was just so proud and excited. He was like filming the audience, and all of a sudden we're at Power Ranger movie premiere with Haim Saban sitting there and all the stars from the movie, and Jason's in there just like filming it, and then security guards come down and like remove him from the theater. Oh.
Well, thank you for your time. Always a huge fan.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
I'm Chris, and I was wondering, part of I love your power. I love you in the Power Rangers. I read God does, right? Yeah, but the best part about you is your music and talent. And do you have anything that you're working on through music right now that are in the works?
It's a musical called Tammy's Always There. I do the cameos, which I really love to do them because I like really bore people with my music. Like whenever I do a cameo, I just sit there for like 6 minutes singing away. You know, it's okay. Anyway, so I love playing music sort of as a hobby in a lot of ways, but I have written these 3 songs in the last couple of years, and I haven't recorded an album in a while, and I feel like if I can write like maybe 2 more, I might like release a little EP. I just have to find the right people to sort of make it with, to help me record it and all that stuff. Does that answer the question? Yeah, so just sort of like slowly been working on some, whenever I'm writing, because I've been writing a lot of screenplays, I usually end up writing a song simultaneously at the same time that sort of fits the theme of what's going on in the screenplay. And so that's where the song for my dad came when I was doing Tammy's Always Dying, and then, so at some point. And then I like to do these little shows online. Have you ever gone to the Stage It show?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, those are always fun, huh?
Right. Well, keep up with the
So
good
I'm
job.
thinking about trying Cameo Live. Yeah, and so instead of doing a Stage It, I'm going to try it out. Because this way, you can have general audience on the Cameo Live that can just watch, but then people can just like pay a little bit more for their ticket and actually have a front row seat, which I think would be fun personally for me to be playing and singing, but actually see people's faces. It may be horrifying at the same time. I'm not sure yet, but I haven't played a live show in like years, but I used to play so many live shows in my 20s.
Right, I've heard your music from your SoundCloud stage it, and I'm like, wow, you need to do a lot more.
Aw, thanks. So I'll let you know when I do a cameo live. Maybe in like a couple months, I'll give it a shot.
Alright, thank you.
Thanks.
Do it right now.
I wish I got a guitar or piano.
Hi, I'm Erin. I just want to tell you that every time I was a little kid, I was like you. We were playing in the yard. Anyways, you were like the first, like, I wasn't into, Marvel or any of that stuff, so you were like the first, like, female lead character. But anyway, my question to you is, what was it like fanfare-wise in the 90s? Like, now we have social media and the internet and all that stuff. Like, what was it like for you, like, being...
You know what's interesting is I really didn't love it. It would like really frighten me. That I can't imagine what I would have felt if I had started out now. I don't know. It's a very different beast now. It's a whole different thing, and I prefer it now in a lot of ways. I'm just remembering back to doing Felicity. When we got the show, they actually had this man named Gavin DeBecker who wrote this book called The Gift of Fear, which I highly recommend. But basically, they really told us not to interact with fans and don't answer fan letters because he wrote the book. He was the lawyer for the girl from Sister or whatever who ended up getting killed by a fan. And they just recommended don't interact. But this is in 1998, before social media or anything. And now, you jump how many, 20 years later, it's so interesting to see that that's how the whole world sort of operates. And with Comic-Cons and just like Chris here is like a friend now, right? Like I've met him at Comic-Cons and stage shows and Will, and like you get to know like the same people.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you want to do it now or not?
Well, I'm not an actor now, so I'm not.
Well, I mean, if you were like 19 and you could be, would you want to be it now about how popular things are, or did you prefer like the quietness of the mess?
I think I preferred that. I think even that frightened me.
Yeah.
Or maybe actually, I don't know, this is sort of a boring conversation maybe, but maybe, no, it's not boring to me.
That's me.
Okay. I wonder if the mystery behind what a fan is back then, without the social media, to actually put a face to a person, made it scarier. Then that's why I don't feel the same way now. Who knows, right? We could do a whole study on that.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Sam. I got two questions, if that's okay.
Okay.
First, if you could be in any franchise, like, what would you want to be in, like, any movie that you want to be in?
Oh, okay. Well, my boyfriend would kill me if I didn't say Marvel. And then that's probably a really nice paycheck, too. And it looks really kind of fun.
If you want a Marvel movie and a superhero, what would your superpower be then?
Oh, well, I really love that WandaVision. That was fun. And Catherine Hahn's part was great. You know, in an alternate universe, if I could be Catherine Hahn.
And my next question is actually for my friend who's in the blue Power Ranger outfit. If you want the pink Power Ranger, which Power Ranger would you be? Like, what color?
Maybe like a purple?
Maybe I was talking to make it a purple ranger.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Alright, thank you.
I want to ask you a little bit about, you're part of an organization called Filmmaker, is that right?
Yeah, it's like online. They do really great, what I've in the last couple of years of the pandemic gone and watched like different filmmakers speak, and they do like really good webinars. And then it's like a meetup group, which I haven't gone very much, but I should, of female directors and filmmakers that get together and support each other. Yeah.
Do you, throughout your career, what differences have you experienced as a woman in the film industry versus some of your peers who are men?
Oh, I don't, you know, that's, could be a really good question. I think that say some of my best mentors in the past have been men. And I've grown and learned a lot from both women and men, but I do have to say that I think it is still very much a man's, I don't want to say it's a man's world, because women are in leaps and bounds doing more directing and all this stuff, but there's still a ways to go, for sure, with different positions within the industry, being more female or equality, yeah.
So you mentioned some of the mentors you have, or that you have. Are there castmates that you've had throughout the years that you're still in contact with, that you're still good friends with?
David Jones, he's one of my besties. And Enrico Contoni is a really dear friend and kind of a mentor in a lot of ways as well. He's a very wise guy. Like Graham from Flashpoint, I'll see when I go to LA, David Pico, and yeah, I mean, I've stayed friends with pretty much everybody I've ever really worked with in the past, but super close with David. And Jason, me and Jason text all the time.
Nice, that's awesome. How do you feel that getting into acting, any music shaped your life in ways that it otherwise wouldn't have if you not got into acting?
Yeah, I mean, now that I realize all I want to do is write and direct, that is part of me is like, oh, why didn't I figure that out in my 20s? But I think I don't regret anything because those 20 years of acting were almost like going to film school and were a great foundation for me diving into directing, so I wouldn't trade it for the world. And
just how getting into acting shaped your career, or shaped your life, really?
yeah, and then, you know, I don't know, like, I feel really blessed and lucky to have had the drive and the perseverance and to drive out to Los Angeles and discover that Hollywood was there. And the joke again, nobody finds the fact that I didn't know Hollywood was Los Angeles was funny. Yeah, I just kind of always am flown by the seat of my pants and my instincts and just kind of like just moving 100 miles per hour wherever I'm going. And I don't stay in a city for very long either. But I was in LA for 15 years, but then I lived in New York a couple of different times. And then I, was in Montreal for 5 years, now in Toronto. I don't know where I'm going to end up next. But definitely will still be filmmaking though for the long haul.
And the last question I'd like to ask you before we wrap up. Throughout your 30-year career, what are you most proud of?
I think a couple different things for different reasons. If I say Power Rangers, it's not because of anything that I did besides being lucky and I happened to audition for a part that then has become like something that has influenced people in like this really sweet, positive way. Pretty proud of that. But again, that was just happenstance for myself. Tammy's Always Dying, my feature that I did, I'm pretty proud of that because I'm realizing now when I want to try and make my third film, it's hard to make a movie, to raise all the money, to get all the people together, to get the good script, it's a feat to like really get a film off the ground. So I'm pretty proud of that film, and I think it came out pretty good. And then I just wrote a sexy thriller that I'm pretty cool. There's the little girl walks in the door. It's called What We've Become. I literally finished it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm pretty proud of that, guys. Oh my god, it's a doozy. There's so many twists and turns. I'm so excited. It's super fun.